The clock's ticking down. Bidders are working, you'd think, on their second bids. So the magic figure, 6 billion. It's quite a lot of money, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But I think, look, that's what the Glazers are looking for. We don't have the exact numbers of what the first bids for United were, but we've got a pretty good idea that they were around £4.5 billion.
So some way off 6 then?
Yeah, I mean, £4.5 billion is still a world record for a sports club. But the Glazers think United is worth at least £6 billion. The big question is, are there people out there who are willing to pay £6 billion for Manchester United? Everybody seems to think that the Qataris are people who have unlimited wealth, the kind of people who would write a blank cheque to buy United. I don't think that's what they would do. They're willing to overpay for Man United, but they're not going to write a blank cheque for the club. I still think it's a very interesting situation, because if you don't pay what the Glazers are looking for, then the Glazers are not going to sell the club.
Yeah, and I mean, is it a case of highest bidder wins, or is it more than that? You know, who are the favourites, do you think, to buy the club? Well,
this is a question that I've asked. I was told this morning there are no favourites. Okay. I thought I was going to get the answer that the Qataris are the favourites, simply because they're the richest people at the table. But I was told that is not the case. I was told, on the basis of the value of the first round bids, there is no clear favourite at the moment. A clear favourite may emerge tomorrow night once we have the second round of bids. So that is the information I have. I know a lot of United fans would want the club to be owned by the Qataris, because they think that the Qataris will make the club debt-free, and they've got the money not just to buy the club but to redevelop the facilities and also to invest in the team. But as things stand, they are not the favourites. That's what I'm being told. Nobody's the favourite.
Nobody's the favourite. OK, so who's impressing then?
Good question. I mean, you know, I'm not involved in the process. I'm not the one selling Manchester United. But the information I have is, and I can't speak for all the interested parties because I'm only getting bits of information here and there, but the information I have is that Sir Jim Ratcliffe and his Ineos delegation were very impressive when they visited Manchester United on Friday. You can see Sir Jim there. Behind him was Sir Dave Brailsford, who's the Director of Sport at Ineos. Really high-powered delegation there. Sir Jim, 2 Ineos co-owners, Chief Executive of Ineos Sport, Chairman of Ineos Sport, Director of Ineos Sport as well. And I'm being told that they were very impressive, and their approach to buying United was very, very sophisticated. So they really, really did impress. And of course, they're definitely going to make a new bid tomorrow as well.
Just one final question. Is there a chance that the sale doesn't happen at all and nothing happens and we remain as the status quo? Or do you think something will happen? There'll be a shift, there'll be a proportion sale? Or
I think there's a chance that Manchester United are not sold. I think there's a chance that the Glazers will stay in control. The information I'm getting is, look, you've got to pay the asking price, because if you don't pay the asking price, the Glazers are quite happy to stay, because they think that there is a big, big future for Manchester United. They think Manchester United is going to be worth more in the future. So you really have to convince them to sell the club. And the way you can do that is by putting a lot of money on the table. And if you don't, they have other options, because there are hedge funds, there are investors who just want to buy a minority stake in Manchester United. And that is a very attractive option for the Glazers as well.
It's worth £6 billion, isn't it?
Well, look, it depends who you talk to. I mean, look, in this day and age, with everything that's going on in the world, you think buying Manchester United for £6 billion, I mean, who would do that? You could have bought the second biggest bank in Switzerland yesterday for £2.6 billion. But there are a lot of people out there who think that, you know, Premier League clubs are worth a lot of money, especially the really, really big ones. And I don't want to say anything controversial, but a lot of people would say that Manchester United are arguably the biggest club in the Premier League, and it is a unique opportunity to own one of the crown jewels of sport, is the way it's being described. And there are people out there who are willing to spend at least £4.5 billion to buy Manchester United. And I think tomorrow we'll discover that there are people out there who are willing to spend more than £5 billion to buy United, which of course would be a world record.
Will they get 6 for it?
You know, sometimes if someone asks you a question, you don't know the answer. You just have to say, I don't know the answer. But I'm being told that there will be bids more than £5 billion tomorrow. I'm not sure whether they will be close enough to 6 for the Glazer family to want to sell. And I'm not sure that £6 billion is the exact figure they're looking for.
Yeah.
That is just, you know, when we ask the question, when we say it's 6, we're not being steered away from that number.
Thank you for answering my question when you didn't want to.